Oh my, PJ Duke. And I know I'm skipping over Marcus Blaze, but PJ Duke, that was what, potentially a semifinals matchup?
You are Locked On Nittany Lions, your daily podcast on the Penn State Nittany Lions. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Maybe I shouldn't go as far to say a championship matchup there, but I possibly, right. PJ Duke and Daniel Cardenas, the way that those two scrapped from start to finish, and PJ Duke, his defense, his strength as a true freshman, it's unmatched, it's unprecedented, however you want to describe it. I've seen people floating the idea on social media. I don't know how serious they are when they say this, but they're starting to make the comparisons to Cael Sanderson that he might never lose a college wrestling match. That's where I didn't say that. Other people online are starting to say this, like, yeah, we have to acknowledge how good PJ Duke is. Now, he's just a true freshman. This is one of his first serious iconic matchups here, and he gets the decisive victory. And decisive, this one went down to the wire, but Duke needed a takedown. He got a takedown when he needed one. It's just the defense, because Cardenas was relentless. There were probably 3 separate occasions in the second and third periods where I said, okay, Duke's going to give up the takedown, and you might get in a situation where you lose that riding point, and Cardenas wins this 6-5, right? No, never in doubt, because of Duke's defense and the strength that he had to fend off all of those shots and all of those scrambles. So Duke's got to be at some point the favorite here at 157. It's a loaded 157-pound weight class. There are a lot of names in this class. Cardenas is one of them. Ty Waters is back this season for West Virginia. Landon Robidoux is emerging for Oklahoma State. He's one of those rising superstar freshmen, right, since they're going through the youth movement at OKSU. Vinny Zerbin for Iowa State. Brandon Cannon is only going to get better and stuff. You have Cardenas. You have Antrell Taylor, who's the defending champion, right? Cannon Webster bumps up a weight class for Illinois. So PJ Duke, there's a long list of names in this weight class that we're going to be eager to see him wrestle any of them, especially some of those names in the Big Ten, Brandon Cannon in particular, when we get to Penn State, Ohio State. Marcus Blaze. Marcus Blaze is also, again, strongly in the mix at 133. 133 is a loaded weight class too, because Lucas Bird is the defending champion. I know I had Drake Ayala in 41 earlier, but Drake Ayala's in 133. Evan Frost, Ben Davino of Ohio State, that's the one that I can't wait for. But you go up against Tyler Knox, who was number 6 going into this matchup. And not only do you win, talk about winning decisively, you pin him, and Tyler Knox going with the Bush League move to avoid being pinned, to avoid being embarrassed by the true freshman. Marcus Blaze calls it out to the ref, and he says, the guy is pulling my singlet here. The ref does the right thing, because they're in the middle of a scramble. They're in the middle of a move that Marcus Blaze is trying to finish. And he just lets the match go, which is great. And then it transpires into the fall. So Marcus Blaze, everything is advertised here. Same thing in that category, in that mix of, this guy is a finals contender. He is just as strong as Ben Davino or Ayala or Evan Frost or Bird. Any of them, all of those guys can contend for the finals this year. And Marcus Blaze is right there too, similarly with PJ Duke. So at 157. And then we get to the overall, there's so many other things that I can take away from this North Dakota State, Stanford journeyman duels, these matchups here, that I didn't even get to, right? Levi Haynes having a solid performance against someone like a Lorenzo Norman, who's not a pushover by any means. You get a major decision there. Shane Van Ness continues to put, on a showcase, solid victory against a ranked Aiden Valencia, right? There should have been 7 ranked opponents in the Stanford lineup. We didn't get to see all of them. Luke Lilledal against Nico Provo. That's somebody who can easily be an All-American and maybe pull off some quiet upsets going into NCAAs. So you defeat Nico Provo of Stanford. And Cole Mirasola to bounce back the way he did. I know, again, not the best competition he's going to face, but notice how easy it is. I just want to get this on the record because I couldn't help myself beforehand. But Cole, his biggest weakness is just not being a physically developed heavyweight. It's not a talent issue. It is simply he hasn't been wrestling as a true heavyweight for a long time. This is year 2. And when you've wrestled two opponents that are comparable in size to you, it's just flat out domination. He goes and pins both of them. I thought he pinned, but no, he tech falled the second opponent right within the final second of the first period. So that's why it was a buzzer beater. And I thought it was a pin, but no, he tech falled him. So he pins the first guy and then he tech falls the next guy. And it's just this, he has the speed, he has the agility, he has everything he needs to close the gap with his technique. But when it comes to strength and size and leverage that other wrestlers have because they're taller, they're just more physically developed, that's really it. And that's just the thing that Cole Mirasola is going to be facing all season long. It's not going to jeopardize him his entire career at Penn State, but for this season, maybe a little bit next season as well. And Greg Kirtley dealt with the same thing too, since he wasn't originally a heavyweight. He was a 197 pounder that bulked up to heavyweight. So Cole's doing the same thing. It's going to take him some time. But notice when he's facing comparable competition in terms of size, no chance. Absolutely no chance. So Cole, this heavyweight class is fairly deep. So I do wonder, it's going to be close if he's able to get onto the podium or not. There are 8 wrestlers right now that I look at that heavyweight class and say, you know, this Younger Bastida, Isaac Trumbull, Nick Feldman, AJ Ferrari, Ben Keeter, if he's healthy. We saw him lose to Nathan Taylor, Connor Doucette, Tay Gadiali. We saw him lose to Christian Cael. Those are 9 names right there that, you know, Cole's going to be going up against for 8 spots to be an All-American. It's going to be tough, but he's only going to get better. So again, wanted to point something out that Cole is still really talented, just facing an uphill battle since there's a major size disadvantage for him. And then the Flo rankings. So I didn't get to that. I still want to talk to you guys in the live chat too. They're going to be severely adjusted. And again, what Flo is trying to do is they're trying to create neutral projections of sorts because Josh Barr is not in the lineup, so you can't rank him. You can presume that he's going to be the number 1 guy, and Flo even acknowledged it. I think Christian Piles was on the broadcast for anybody that was watching the live stream, and I think it was Christian Piles that said, you know, hey, Josh Barr, wow, he's back. He looks great. He's probably going to be number 1 after this weekend, like a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing here. That, oh, you know what you guys are talking about with the rankings and the discourse around them. So Barr, he'll be back at number 1 instead of someone like Cole Mirasola, who's ranked, you know, give or take 8th to 10th, Connor Mirasola. And now Barr is going to be number 1. That's going to put Penn State's team score over the top. And then also, Marcus Blaze and PJ Duke, they're ranked just outside or just inside the top 10 at this point in time. And today's episode is brought to you by Wayfair. The holidays are here, and if you're looking for last-minute holiday shopping, Wayfair is the way to go. Now, Wayfair has so many great deals that you can find here during the holidays, because if you're still pulling together gift ideas or you need last-minute decor, you're trying to get your home ready for guests, holiday parties, Wayfair's got you covered. If you need a quick room refresh, you need new bedding, do you need those final seasonal touches to make the holidays all come together? Wayfair makes it easy to get what you need and fast. Wayfair is truly your one-stop shop for everything home. You have decor, furniture, kitchen essentials, and gifts for every style and every budget, all delivered quickly and easily. Selection's huge. So I already started to name some of them: bedding, decor, you got kitchen gear, kids' room updates. You can find anything and everything all in one place. It's so easy to shop by style. you can pick your pieces that actually fit your home instead of just guessing. And Wayfair items you order will instantly refresh your space without a big project. Plus, Wayfair is perfect for gifting too. They have guides, tons of options, and something for everyone on any budget. No massive delivery fees, no stress. Get last minute holiday essentials, hosting essentials, gifts for all your loved ones, and decor to celebrate the holidays for way less with Wayfair. Head over to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That is WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast, one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place live bets. You can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into that moment. You have live spreads and money lines that adjust instantly, player props update as guys heat up, and you can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. You have NFL football. You also have college football that you can bet on via FanDuel. And lines are available for Penn State as they take on Clemson in the upcoming bowl game. Penn State is a 3.5-point underdog as it stands right now, plus 128 on the money line, minus 154 if you're thinking Clemson, and the total is set at 48.5. If you like those lines, you can visit FanDuel.com or the FanDuel app. And if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets. That's FanDuel. The game moves fast, and so can you. Okay. And that's understandable to the point because they are true freshmen. They don't have that signature victory until now, because when you look at, for example, 141, Sergio Vega of Oklahoma State goes out and wins very decisively over Brock Hardy of Nebraska. You're going to have to put him at number 2. And then again, that shuffles the team standings and everything. Same thing with Landon Robidoux, who picked up a couple of signature victories, right? So another true freshman for Oklahoma State. I'm not trying to highlight Oklahoma State in this moment, but it is a good comparison of apples to apples, because you have true freshmen that are making a name for themselves. They have those signature victories that you can say, okay, objectively, we have to rank Vega here. We have to rank Robidoux here. They know Marcus Blaze and PJ Duke are as good as they are, okay? But since you don't have the tangible wins up until this point, until now, you can't really do anything about it when you're just going off of numbers. So I'll give Flo the benefit of the doubt. They're not trying. It's fun to poke fun at it, in my opinion. It's fun to look at that and say that, oh, they're doing it just to underrate Penn State and to underestimate them. But if you're going off of it in terms of neutral equations and data points and everything, yeah, it's just the fact of the matter. But let Marcus Blaze and PJ Duke just handle business when we get to the Big Ten slate, right? Which will be here just in a matter of weeks. So, all right, that's my agenda. And in 40 minutes, and I didn't think I had 40 minutes of content to talk about, but apparently I did, just from 2 different matchups. Penn State winning both of them again, shutting out each opponent. North Dakota State 46-0, Stanford 42-0. Let's see. I can give everybody the results as well in case you missed them. So Lilledal, a close win over Ezekiel. This is the North Dakota State matchup. Lilledal 6-5 over Witt of North Dakota State. Blaze 11-3 over Daughtry. Desmond 4-1 over Olson. Shane Van Ness tech fall over Peterson 19-2. PJ Duke major decision over Drexler 16-5. Messenbrink tech fall over Greenlee 18-1. Levi Haynes a pin over Sequoia in 1 minute and 38 seconds. Rocco Welsh tech fall over McGonigal 19-4. Barr tech fall over Waskley 19-3. Cole Mirasola pins Blackburn Forced in 33 seconds. Like I said, Mirisola, kind of the, not necessarily, I don't want to say unsung hero, but a performance that will fly under the radar for this weekend. And then against Stanford, Lilledal 4-2 over Provo. Blaze over a pin against Knox in 6 minutes and 44 seconds. Desmond, a major decision against, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Yapuian. Not sure I pronounced his name right there. Major decision, 9-0 over him. Van Ness, decision over Aiden Valencia, 10-4. Duke, 5-2 over Daniel Cardenas. Mitchell Messenbrink pinning EJ Parko. We actually didn't get to see Hunter Garvin. He pinned EJ Parko, who filled in for Hunter Garvin, 4 minutes and 23 seconds. Levi Haynes, major decision over Lorenzo Norman, 14-4. Rocco Welsh over Wajikowicz, 5-1 by decision. Josh Barr, tech fall over Angelo Posada, 19-3. And Cole Mirasola, tech fall within that first period over Luke Duthie, 21-6. So Penn State, great weekend for them. And they'll face Rutgers January 10th back in Rec Hall. That's at 4 p.m. on a Saturday. 4 p.m. dual meet on a Saturday. A little slightly uncharacteristic, right? Am I the only one that thinks that here? 4 p.m. Eastern time, Saturday, January 10th. But it'll be good to open up things in the Big Ten. Rutgers has a solid team this season. And then things get real serious with Iowa on the road. And then the heavy hitter, a little bit of a drop off there between Northwestern and Indiana and Maryland, but Nebraska, Michigan, Ohio State, all three of them consecutively. That's going to be the part of the schedule that keeps on giving at the end of January going into February there, and capping off the Big Ten slate with what will be a determined Ohio State team. Okay. Back into the comments section just briefly here, because these shows are supposed to be about give or take 30 minutes, right? But had a lot to say here with what Penn State did in terms of history. So I appreciate almost 300 viewers here in the live show. Thank you so much. So Chad, yeah, echoing my points. So a lot of these comments are going to be delayed because I made my points and then people respond to them, right? A great point about the streak continuing, other than the Ohio State matchup, which will be tough. This streak could go into next year. I don't anticipate the streak being challenged outside of Ohio State, but I'm still confident. If you want to project that matchup now, right? 125. Okay, so Luke Lilledal versus Nick Bazakis. You have Ben Davino and Marcus Blaze. You have Jesse Mendez where, okay, is Aaron Nagao going to be healthy in time, or is it going to be Nate Desmond, right? That's going to be one with bonus points. Or does Penn State, maybe Penn State does a little bit of a shuffle. We'll see, right? We'll see. I think they'll keep Blaze at 33. I don't think they'll move him up to 141 or anything like that to kind of shuffle some bonus points around and what have you. But Shane Van Ness, okay, against Ethan Styles. I'm confident that Van Ness wins that one, even though that one's going to be close. PJ Duke against Brandon Cannon, confident, even though that one will be close. Mitchell Messenbrink. Does Ohio State have anybody is Patty Gallagher going to challenge Mitchell Messenbrink? Probably not. Levi Haynes against Carson Hartshaw. Hartshaw will give him a fight. But again, side Levi Haynes. Rocco Welsh going up against, Dylan Fishback has looked really good this year, transferring in and to replace a Rocco Welsh there at 84. That's going to be a good matchup. I'm going to obviously lean Rocco Welsh. 97, Josh Barr. No signs of fatigue or rust or anything like that, and that will be well into February. Luke Geog, we're opening up for bonus points. And then Nick Feldman, probably going to have to side with Nick Feldman there against Cole Mirasola. So, Penn State, the questionable spots, definitely heavyweight and 141. But this dual meet goes 8-2, 7-3. Okay. Even those those ones will be signature right out of the gate. They start at 125, 133. You need Luke Lilledal to hold off a Nick Bazakis, and you need Marcus Blaze to take down a Ben Davino at 141. That's kind of where things get a little contentious there, because who does Penn State actually roll out against Jesse Mendez? And even if you have Aaron Nagao that's healthy, I wonder, does Jesse Mendez pick up a major decision in that situation? Does he do that against Nate Desmond? That's time will tell with that one. But yes, Ohio State, that's where the streak will truly be put to the test this season. And then probably going into next season, that's the exact same spot where Penn State, we don't know the schedule right now. Do they actually schedule an Oklahoma State? Do they schedule somebody like an Iowa State that's a tough non-conference opponent? Do they go to the national duels, right? Because that's where that streak would be put on the line going into next season. Cael Sanderson says he's entertaining it, right? It's not out of the question that he's never going to go or something like that. But it would carry over into next season, but you still have the same lineup back, except Levi Haynes. And then you would shuffle different names. You would, Masanosuke Ono would be in the lineup, right? In theory. Who else? Tyler Kasak is supposed to be back. And then PJ Duke takes the red shirt, right? That's what's crazy. So Ohio State will test them, but this streak, a pretty plausible scenario here is that this carries all the way until the 27-28 season, until it's really, and again, it depends who's on the schedule. Crazy to think, but honestly, not that crazy. What else do we have in the comments section? If Ono wrestled this year, they would win 141, and if they could have gotten AJ Ferrari for heavyweight. I wasn't too privy on the idea of getting AJ Ferrari, because what it does is it disrupts what you have. Yes, it would have helped Cole Mirasola, another year, because I think unless AJ Ferrari has multiple years of eligibility, and even still, I like what Penn State had. You're starting the development early. You're getting him in the lineup a little earlier. So I'd rather have the Mirisola twins and not sacrifice them to get AJ Ferrari. That was my kind of thought process of it, because if Ferrari comes in, you know how that discourse would have gone. Oh, the Mirisola twins need to transfer. Well, I like the Mirisola twins at Penn State. I like what they're able to do. So Chad, again, I really like what Desmond has been doing at 141. Will be fun to see what happens between him and Nagao. And this episode is brought to you by Rocket Money. Do you ever feel like your money just disappears each month? It happens fast. A few subscriptions here, an impulse buy there, and suddenly the numbers in your bank account don't match the numbers in your head. Well, Rocket Money helps you get clarity, track every dollar, and stay in control of your finances, because managing your money shouldn't feel like a second job. Rocket Money does the heavy lifting for you, so you can save more and you stress less. Rocket Money, what it does is it finds the subscriptions that you forgot you were paying for, and it helps you clean them up quickly. You get to see all of your spending on one dashboard, and that makes it easier to understand where your money is actually going. And you'll love how Rocket Money automatically builds budgets based on past spending. It keeps you on track without a bunch of overthinking. You have bill alerts, spending notifications that will help you catch the small things before they turn into big expenses. You can take control of your finances and cancel your unwanted subscriptions with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/locked-on today. That is rocketmoney.com/locked-on, rocketmoney.com/locked-on. That's going to be a really let's think about this a year further. That weight class between potentially Ono, right? They could shuffle some guys around, right? Blaze would have a red shirt, so do you have Desmond go at 33 and Ono go at 41? Do you have Davis and Nagao? Do you have, because Nagao still has one more year of eligibility after this season. People are going to talk about the transfer portal again. I know, should Nagao enter the portal? Things like that. Nagao likes being at Penn State. Anybody that thinks Nagao wants to transfer or should have transferred, he likes being at Penn State. So injuries just have derailed him. Bad luck. But you have in those lightweight classes there, you have Blaze, you have, and I hope I'm not leaving anybody out, but just the first names that come to mind: Blaze, Ono, Desmond, you would have Davis and Nagao all vying for 2 spots. And I guess we shouldn't forget about Dalton Perry. Dalton Perry's at that 141, 149, give or take. He was in the top 50 pound for pound weight class in overall. So don't forget about Dalton Perry. He's dealing with an injury as well. But in the case of Ono, Ono is there for the training aspect of it. There's complications with his red shirt and his eligibility. If Penn State gets everything approved, he might be eligible for 2 years, best case scenario. So not just next year, but the following year. Wouldn't that be something? So there's a lot of contingencies with Ono's eligibility and everything. What's going on with Luke? Maybe he should have redshirted this year. I guess everyone's really hyper focused on him almost losing against North Dakota State, which is understandable. It wasn't, but then he responded, right? Nico Provo's no slouch. I will say this about Lilledal. He's looked a little tense, at least in this matchup. Could he be sick? Could he be right? You kind of listen to me, and it's I'm overcoming a cold myself. I mean, that's no excuse for Lilledal. You want to be able to push through that and stuff. But Cael's acknowledged that, like, hey, we have guys that are dealing with sicknesses, dealing with illnesses periodically, and I kind of saw that Lilledal didn't exactly look like himself, but he was still able to find enough to win, and that's what's impressive. When you're not feeling your best, you don't have your best, and you're still able to win a close one and defeat an All-America contender in Provo, all for it. But yeah, Lilledal being upset by Desmond, that's one. I can't speculate an injury or anything. Just that Lilledal didn't look, at least he just didn't look like himself today. And but it still translated to into 2 victories. Yes, we all agree that Blazin' Davino is going to be must-see. That might be the 133 finals. Who knows? The future is now. Ben Davino and Marcus Blaze. And then wait until Jax Forrest gets involved, right? Is Jax Forrest going to wrestle this season? Maybe. Who knows? A lot of comments. Appreciate the comments. Really do. Can we talk about the North Dakota State kid running from Blaze the whole time? I mean, I don't blame them. I guess that's your best shot of trying to keep it close with Marcus Blaze is to stall or tug on the singlet, right? Either run away from him or tug on the singlet, and you'll give your best result. I enjoy talking to people that were like, I wrestled back in the day. I didn't. I wish I did. But people that say that they wrestled a top prospect and they're like, I didn't get pinned. I bet people walk away and say, I wrestled. They'll look back in the day and, I wrestled that Marcus Blaze guy who's a world champ and eventually an Olympic champion. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. But, I wrestled that Blaze guy in college and I only lost to him 11-3. I only lost to him by a major decision. I didn't get pinned by him. So that's going to be the story. When you run away from Marcus Blaze, you're like, see, I didn't get pinned by him. I didn't get pinned by Marcus Blaze. I was pretty good when I was in college. So yeah, where's Flo going to rank Penn State now? Yes, they're gonna knock them. They're gonna knock them down a couple of spots because they didn't win by enough. It's just it's a formality thing. Here's what I would do. Put out two sets of rankings. Okay? Put out one set of rankings that says, hey, based on some of the tangible results, this is who this, based on prior results, this is how they would be ranked. Like have a computer ranking and then get together and rank them kind of like the AP top 25, where that's very subjective. So you have an objective ranking system, and then you have a subjective ranking system where PJ Duke's the most premier prospect coming out of high school in the last, 2 decades? And you have him inside the top 10, barely inside the top 10. Really? Same thing with Marcus Blaze. Really? He's barely inside the top 10. So those are things that you can have where you have those, the Flow computer rankings or whatever, and then you get together with all the analysts, Christian Piles and the team, and say, hey, this is how we would rank them based on what we know from freestyle, high school rankings, and everything. So, I think that's where we're going to wrap things up here. We're approaching an hour, late on a Saturday night, but I really appreciate each and every one of you joining the show. It's been awesome. This was great to talk about a lot of different things between Josh Barr returning, what we got to see with Nate Desmond again, Marcus Blaze, PJ Duke making their statements. Again, Cole Mirasola bouncing back, and Penn State rewriting the history books. And again, this one extremely unprecedented because this can't happen on a year by year basis. It is year after year after year after year in the making to get to this point. So 5 years of sustained success with no circumstantial problems that Penn State put itself in position to where bad luck, injuries didn't affect them. 77 dual meet victories in a row in the toughest wrestling conference in the country with a Big Ten. Again, going up against Ohio State, Michigan, Nebraska on a year-by-year basis and never losing to them over a 5-year, plus Iowa, right? Last loss was to Iowa back in January of 2020. They have not lost since January of 2020, and I don't foresee them losing for the foreseeable future. So Ohio State will give them a test, but honestly, Penn State, I do anticipate this record carries into the 27-28 season, but it's tough to know since we don't have those schedules yet, like college football. We can see who they're going to play in the future. We don't know who Penn State's going to wrestle those next couple of seasons. So appreciate everything. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for the support on the channel. We're going to have plenty of follow-up conversations. We'll get Jeff Byers back on the show. A little bit of logistics complications, but we'll have Jeff Byers back on the show to talk about the team and get his thoughts and everything very soon, very shortly. But if you are new to the show, subscribe to the YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss any of these conversations. We'll talk wrestling. We'll talk about football. We got to get basketball and hockey back on the agenda as well because they're going to ramp up too. Recruiting, especially with the portal coming up with Penn State football. But my name is Zach Seyko. I'm your host as always. We talk about all your favorite Penn State sports teams here, right here on Locked On Nittany Lions.